A new breakthrough by the Ukrainian Defence Forces in Kursk Region on September 13th was reported by the Horn Group unit of the 116th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. The footage published by the UAV operators shows Ukrainian equipment breaking through the barriers made of so-called Dragon Teeth fortifications. OSINT specialists report that the Ukrainian forces are advancing south of Veselaya and west-north of Medvezhye. The defense forces are coming into the enemy's rear and cutting into the flank, the analysts explain. One of the objectives may be an attempt to cut through the enemy grouping.
It's obvious that Ukrainians are trying to isolate the swath of Kursk. The strikes on the bridge crossings over the same river and the advance of Ukrainian Defence Forces forward units to the western bank of the river suggest that the objective of Ukrainian Defence Forces is to take control of a portion of Kursk Oblast south of the same. David Aix, analyst from Forbes publication.
In order to strengthen the defense, which was being held mainly by conscripts, the Russian command is transferring units from the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine to Kursk, not only from Kherson and Zaporizhia, but also from Donetsk and Luhansk regions. In addition, reserves that were sent to Kursk region initially were supposed to reinforce the Russian grouping in Ukraine.
Obviously, the war is not frozen, the battlefield is very dynamic. High-intensity operations are taking place every day, and the situation is not a stalemate. Each side is still looking for opportunities to use to change their positions and to increase leverage for potential negotiations. The operation in the Kursk region only proved that it is very difficult to predict the course of this war. Eric Chiaramella, senior fellow in the Russia and Eurasia program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace at the Carnegie Endowment YouTube channel.
The Ukrainian Defence Forces control at least 1,300 square kilometers of the Kursk region, while the Russian army is shelling populated areas, including residential houses. The Ukrainian military is providing civilians with food, water, and medical supplies. Ukraine has called on the UN and the International Committee of the Red Cross to join in providing aid. The Kremlin described the offer to help the Russian population as pure provocation.
The Kremlin's reaction to Ukraine's offer for the UN and ICRC to join humanitarian efforts in the Kursk region shows Russia's disregard for its own people and their humanitarian needs, as well as fear of allowing international observers to see the real situation. Quite telling. Georgy Tikhy, spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine on social network X.
The spokesman for the United Nations Secretary-General, Stephanie Dujarric, has responded to the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry's proposal by saying that the UN is ready to deploy a humanitarian mission in the Ukrainian-controlled territory of Kursk region, but only if Russia agrees to it. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Valeria Nekopelova, UATV News.